up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY 87 here, aka Grace, and it's time for another old school versus new school. So I forgot to bring out this palette and show it in the Mented Cosmetics holiday collection. This is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette, and I feel like it's a good alternative to the Metropolis Metamorphosis palette from Mented Cosmetics. This is part of the holiday collection, but I want to do old school versus new school to see which one I prefer, because I feel like they both have really similar color stories. So I figured, you know, since I own both, let's try them both out and see how it works, girl. Let's see how they're doing. What's going on? What's the tea? So here's what both of them look like on the inside. As you can see, they have definitely similar color stories. I don't even know why I didn't think about it. Well, yeah, I do, because I don't really wear color stories like this, so it was easy for me to forget about this palette. Plus, it's the very first one she came out when she's got like 5 or 7 of these by now. So it's like, girl, it's a lot to think about. But anyway, here's what both of them look like on the inside. Like I said, they look really similar in tone. So y'all know the drill. We're gonna talk about the old school one first, and then we'll get into the new school one. Y'all saw the new school video recently, but here's what the old school one looks like. I honestly just bought this to see if the form of these were gonna be the same as the bigger ones, since y'all know she tried to pull that trick with the $25. I was like, well, since it's 65, she's trying to pull it with 25. I know she's not gonna try it with 65. So I was like, let me go and investigate and figure out what the tea is. So I ended up buying this. The formula is the same as the bigger ones. It's not exactly the same, but it's close enough to where like you can maneuver and make it work, and the price point is much better than the original ones. I don't have too much to say about this palette, just because y'all know this ain't really my color aesthetic. I'm not a warm tone sunset eye girl, and that's what this vibe is giving. So it's like, it's good Natasha Denona quality, it's just not necessarily my cup of tea. But you know, it's a good palette. I kept it in my collection, so I mean, that means it's good enough, I guess. Now on to the Metamorphosis palette. Now please keep in mind my battery about to die, girl, so I'm gonna just show the inside of the palette real quick. Y'all know I love Lethal. I actually did a video on this recently because this is their holiday collection, so y'all saw this before you'll see this video. Anyway, let me go get this battery before it dies, and then we'll talk about how I feel about this palette, even though y'all know I love Lethal, so you know I have nothing but positive things to say. Be right back. Okay, so like I was saying about this Metamorphosis palette, I'm not really into tones like this, but I like the fact that I feel like they gave it a unique sense to these tones. Because you got this deeper, greenish, grungier shade. This is a nice shade that shifts from green to like reddish tones. This is a nice red, orangey, fiery pink situation going on here. So I like the tones that they chose for this, because I feel like this, you could use this for the holidays, for the reds and like the greens in here as far as the shimmers go. And then you can use it in the summer time for like the oranges and the different pops of colors in here, like this yellow that has these green and I want to say green and pink shimmering shifts in it. So I like this one a whole lot better, just because I think it's a fun and unique color story. I feel like when Natasha's is more of like a classic traditional type, you know, sunset eye, and I feel like her tones a lot of times are boring. What I like about Lethal is, even if they do give you a somewhat boring color story, I feel like they have fun dual chromes and trio chromes and shifting shades that'll make it an interesting, boring kind of aesthetic for people like me who don't necessarily like boring, but you know, love their creation. So that's what I love about this palette. It can be used year-round as opposed to just a holiday palette. When I look at Natasha's, I'm just thinking like, this finna be a summertime palette and that's it, and I'm not gonna reach for this in the fall. I mean, I guess you could reach for it in the fall, but to me this just screams more of like a summer aesthetic for people who like sunset eyes, and that's not necessarily my vibe. So I'm interested to see how both of these gonna pair aside each other. So of course y'all know the drill. I'm gonna look quick and cute like. I'm going to go off camera and use Natasha's palette real quick, and then I'm going to come back and use this one on camera with you, because this is only my second time using it. I was thinking about doing this palette on camera just because I haven't used it forever, but it's like, you've seen this before, you've seen my review on it, y'all know I've reviewed plenty of Natasha Denona, and if the formula was different, then maybe I would consider it. Like with the Zendo palette, I think I did that against another brand, and I decided that I wanted to, you know, not, and I wanted to do the Zendo palette on camera instead of the other brand, because I had already did that brand on camera or something to that effect. I forgot exactly what happened, but you know, anywho, I'm gonna go off camera to do Natasha's eye, and then I'll come back and do this one on camera, just because I want another excuse to play with this palette again on camera, because I was blown away and surprised by it, because I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did because of its color story, not because of Lethal's formula. Be right back, girl. Oh, and this is a battle of the strawberry shortcake versus the strawberry milkshake palette. So you can tell me which eye you like down below if you'd like. Okay, y'all. So this is the Natasha Denona eye with the sunrise palette. So this is Natasha and Lethal, Natasha, Lethal, Natasha, Lethal, Natasha, Lethal. So as you can see, these two nudish shades aren't the same. They look the same in the pan, but on the skin, this one looks more beigeish tone, whereas this one is more of a peach undertone. This red is slightly lighter than this one. These two to me look similar enough. And the two lid shades are different because y'all know there's a lot of shifting shades in the lethal ones for the dual chromes and the trio chrome. So I didn't expect to find the exact color for those two, but the rest of them I figured I could fake it to make it. So this is what we got going on with this side. Let's get into the other side and see how this works out, girl. Cause ooh, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the beige shade. Where I put that brush? Here it is. So I'm gonna just take the beige shade and dust it like all up in here. As well, so as you can see, it is looking quite beige as opposed to peachy tone. Like I feel like the other side is peachy tone, but you know, I don't mind. I'm just trying to use this to set the eyeshadow primer. I'm just glad my eyelid isn't looking red like it used to in the last look I did when I put the grays on using the Pretty Please palette you should see coming up. I don't know when. I'm gonna try to get up before the new year ends because you know it did come out this year and I wanted it to be seen this year, but I feel like I'm a little behind when it comes to filming on the new stuff for once, but I feel like it's a ColourPop Pretty Please palette. You wouldn't care as much as the Aura Struck, which is why I did the Aura Struck first. But you'll see it. Okay, so next we're gonna get into that dark burgundy shade on the outer V. See, I feel like both of these look pretty similar on the eye. Could just be a me thing, but I feel like they're pretty similar. With this one I did wing it out. The last two eye looks I've done, I tried not to wing it out, just like, you know, have a rounded shape on the outer V. But this time, I was just like, stick to the classics, stick to it, you know, because it's like I'm kind of tired. It's Christmas Eve, and I'm trying to film as many videos as I can, because I know, like, for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day I gotta work, so I gotta work starting Tuesday all the way till, I think it's Saturday or Sunday. So I'm like, I don't want to, you know, have to do that, because I'm like, you know, so this is how we looking so far. As you can see, I feel like both of them look pretty similar. I'm gonna take the brush that we dusted the transition shade, the crease shade over it, and dust it here. Now I'm gonna go into that red shade, which I'm excited about because I love using red shade in this palette. I feel like it's a really nice true red. Usually the palette stop falling over, but the palette underneath it is so thin. Anyway, let me get into this red shade. This is one of my favorite shades to use in this palette. Like, as you can see, it's much brighter than the other red, but I feel like it's a true red. And that was more of a burgundy red, so I didn't expect these to match. Like I told y'all, I just wanted something that was similar in tone to it, because I wanted to have like a reddish crease shade. So this red is going to be much brighter than the red in the Natasha palette, because it's more of a true red, as you saw from the swatch on my hand. So that's what we're working with. As you can see, this looks a little brighter. The crazy thing is, I feel like it doesn't look that much brighter than this one over here. I mean, like, obviously it's brighter, but I don't feel like it's by like a whole lot. Like I expected it to be like super vibrant and bright. It's not that much brighter, which I'm kind of glad about, because with the comparison, it would have looked really bad. But is that my brush going? Okay, no. Sorry, y'all. That was the brush behind me, because it's always a brush behind me. Did I cut this with glitter glue? I don't think I did. No, I didn't cut this with glitter glue, so we're not gonna cut this side with glitter glue either. And then we're just gonna go in with the shimmer. I'm pretty sure I did not do that. I just put it on, so because the shimmers are so nice and smooth, I don't feel like I need to cut the crease. As you can see, this one is much different in tone than the one I used from the Natasha palette. But again, this is the best matching one, because the rest of them I feel like are like cranberry-ish toned, if you will, or aren't the exact tone of this. And even though this isn't the exact tone, I feel like it was closer than everything else I had to choose from in the Sunrise palette, in my personal opinion. You tell me you think different, girl. So take the clean brush, well, not clean, but we're not adding any other product to it, just dust around the edges of the shimmers. So now, I don't know if y'all was watching the Tory Lanez trial, but how do you feel about that whole situation? Because I was like, oh. And I didn't know how much he looked like his daddy till I saw his daddy talking about God was gonna prevail or something like that about the case. And then I was just like, oh. I'm like, you look like your daddy for real, like face shape and everything. Like, your daddy could not deny you if he wanted to, because you look literally exactly like that man. I'm just taking the brush I used to put the Natasha on and bringing it back out because I feel like the shade isn't giving. But this is what both of them look like. Now I want to see if there's a shade that's similar to this one because I feel like it's not. Because there's this one, but I feel like this one was more coppery. But now I want to swatch it next to it. So maybe we should use the copperier shade because I'm feeling like it's actually looking quite similar to this one. But since I know that one had a shift in it, I didn't want to take a chance on it. But see, there's this coppery shade right here. It's kind of looking similar to this one, but because, like I said, because I know if the shade shifts, I didn't want to change it, but maybe I should have. I think I'm gonna press a little bit on the lid of my eye just to see if it'll make a difference. So we're gonna take the Natasha Sunrise and put it on top and see if that'll make a difference as far as how they look together. It's matching a little bit better. It's matching a little bit better. Let me take the brush and add just a tiny bit more around the edges. I couldn't with my finger. Okay, so with the copper, it's matching like a whole lot better. How about that? Okay, so let me back you on up to talk about my thoughts about both these palettes. A little bit more there. Okay. So when it comes to this, old school versus new school, I'm gonna say the new school one. Like I said from the beginning, I like the color story of this one better because it has the depth to it, and then it has all the dual chromes and trio chromes in it. Then I just like the brightness that's in here because it's like from summer to like fall and winter. I like to still have somewhat brightness even though there's some depth to it with these shades down here. But I must say I like the Lethal one better than I like the Natasha one. I feel like it's just too much brightness and not enough depth. The only depth I feel like is really here is this red shade right here, and it's like I want more depth than that. And y'all know I'm not really big on oranges too, and I feel like there's a lot of orange going on here, a lot of oranges yellow things, like this orange and this copper. To me this is just more neutrally than the Lethal one is, and we all know I'm not a neutrally type girl, so that's why the Lethal one wins for me. But you can comment down below and tell me what you think, because I definitely think I like the Natasha formula better. But like, you know, it's all about the color story, and if I'm gonna want to grab for it, I don't really want to grab for this because of the color story it has versus wanting to grab for this because of the color story that it has. So those are my thoughts, but you can comment down below like I said and tell me what you think. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.